Okay, welcome back. Here we are today. We're going to talk about how you run a campaign. So the purpose of today's video is we want to be able to make content for beginners, people who are getting into this awesome game, and help them sort of navigate their way through getting started. So what we're going to talk about today, Brendy and I are going to go over how to set up the standard campaign, which is called a Dominion campaign. We're going to talk about what that is. We're going to talk about how the house gangs are organized. We're going to talk a little bit about tactics cards as well. And the goal here is the information we'll give you today should help you set up your campaign. And then we're going to move forward from today's video and produce an actual Dominion campaign with a series of linked games, and we're going to use 4 gangs. Okay, moving on from that, now we're going to go into the house gangs. So what we'll do here is we'll start out talking about each house gang has its own specific house rules, and they all have a very unique mechanic, and these mechanics can be very difficult to get your head around when you're starting out. There's no reason you have to use the house mechanics. You can certainly, if you're a new player, you can just start and use the base rules for the gang without worrying about the house mechanics, because they can be a bit daunting because there's a lot of rules to get your head around when you start out. And that would be perfectly reasonable to do if everybody agreed just to ignore their house mechanics. However, we're using the house mechanics today just to make sure we can demonstrate sort of, I guess, the scope of what each of the houses can do. Anyway, Brendy, let's go over to House Escher.
Yep. So I've played this game before in one of our skirmishes that we've already got up, but you know, it's just a great game, I think. So the specialty for House Escher is their access to what they call chems and chemical weapons and toxins and basically stuff that's not used brute force. Basically, it's a complete opposite of House Goliath. So starting with that, obviously, as I said, they get access to chems and stuff. The gang I've written doesn't start with any, but the plan is that you can get a special hanger on at some point that will give you access to, but basically buy the chemical concoctions a lot cheaper. And basically you can combine 3 chems and you can reduce players' stats. You can have things like corrupted blood, and you can make them roll twice on the damage table if you put them out of action. All sorts of really cool little effects that will come into play later on. For the most part, at this point, I've just taken chem synths on the characters that do use chemical weapons or toxic weapons, just so they can reduce the toughness of those characters by 1, which is really, really big, being that the poison and toxin weapons, they don't do a roll on, if I do a wound to a character, I'm not removing wounds from a character, I'm doing a toughness test. And if that toughness test is failed, then I get to roll a damage dice.
Yeah.
So I'm bypassing, with those chemical weapons, the whole mechanism of, I've got 3 wounds on my stimmer, for example. I could hit that guy with 1 wound with my chemical or my poison weapons, and I can take him out of action immediately without stripping the wounds off of him.
He just gets an armor save, doesn't he? And that's it.
He will get an armor save, yep.
But then that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
So you could really take down a multi-wound character. That's the point of these things.
That's the point of these things. So, and I guess to start off with this game, I've got my gang queen Isabella. She's got spring up as a skill, which means that she can stand up if she's knocked down by just passing an initiative test. Escher gangers, their stats are more aligned to be more finesse, agile. Initiative sort of for these girls, even on their very basic troops, is all very lower than most other gangs. So yeah, she basically, it's the Escher version of Nerves of Steel. Rather than getting hit and then ignoring it, they'll take the hit, but in the next turn can flip back up. So she's got Spring Up as her skill. She is starting off with a Combi Bolter Needler weapon. So as I said, making use of that toxic stuff. So she can, use a bolt round to shoot, to take out a standard sort of dude, or she can use the needler weapon to try and take down a multi-wound character straight up. Outside of that, I then have a Death Maiden. I'm a big fan of Death Maidens, especially running like stiletto swords, which again is running toxic. She's also got the chem synth to make her toxic weapons more potent when she does actually get to use them. She's more, unlike my Gang Queen at the moment, more of a melee focused character. And then she's taking the skill combat virtuoso, which basically makes her strength stat her versatile distance. So she starts off with like a strength of 3, which means that her swords have a versatility range of 3. So, melee-based character that can stay out of range and hit you with her swords, and with the toxic weapons, hopefully get enough wounds on you to make it hurt.
It's very hard to kill her if you can't hit her, though.
It's very hard to hit her if you can't kill her. Or very hard to kill her if you can't hit her. Yep. So then I've only got the two characters in this gang. The next model is a sister specialist. She's running obviously the Nightshade Chem Thrower, which is a Escher special weapon for Escher gangs. It's a flamethrower that basically shoots toxic gas. Yeah. So again, your gas weapon. She's running a chem synth to make that gas more effective. So yeah, it's a template weapon. So it's always going to hit, which is great. The disadvantage of gas weapons, though, which a lot of players might forget, is that it doesn't make your models go prone.
Doesn't pin anybody.
Doesn't pin anyone.
If it doesn't affect them.
No.
Yeah.
But it is silent,
Yes.
which is good for sneaky missions.
Sneaky missions, yeah, that's good.
So that's my gang, my specialist for my gang. I'm then running a wheeled runner, which is the prospect for House Escher. Nothing really special about her. She does, however, have a Phoenix pet that runs around with her. So she's kind of like a Juve in terms of her loadout. A stiletto knife, which is a toxic knife. Again, Escher leaning into Escher stuff. But then she's also taking one of their special pets as well. Outside of that, I've got 2 normal gangers, which are called sisters. One is running a shotgun. The advantage of the Escher gang is that their shotguns get an extra type of ammo called acid rounds. It's kind of like a scatter shot, but slightly stronger. And then the acid rounds also cause blaze, like a flame template. The other sister that I've got is running a las gun. Escher, for some reason, have very cheap las guns. 5 credits.
Everyone has a las gun.
Everyone has a las gun, but Escher get them for cheaper for some reason. She's also got a hot shot on that, obviously to make it strength 4. But otherwise, she's just a las gun sister, which is before they brought out the house book, las gun sister lines were apparently the thing to do. So we've got one of those. And then rounding out my gang, I've got a little sister, which is a Juve. She's just a close combat knife and pistol fighter. She'll get in, hopefully get some experience and get some skills. She's very cheap, only 45 credits. What can you do?
Yeah.
But yeah, as I said, I've got a lot of gas, I've got a lot of toxin, and just a lot of special weapons. Like I said, with also the shotgun with the blaze on it, which other gangs don't actually get access to. So,
and blaze is a great ability to have early at the start of a campaign.
On a shotgun.
Yeah.
On a shotgun.
Yeah.
With scatter shot.
With scatter shot, yeah.
It's going to be great.